UI Location Kit intelligently combines GPS, Wi-Fi, and base stations to give you precise user locations. Sets up virtual geographic boundaries to detect events, such as when a device enters, exits, or lingers. Adjusts your app to user walking, running, cycling, driving, or idling. The first step is to enter the Huawei developer site. It should be noted that registration is a simple process, and it only takes 1 to 2 days to validate the identity of the developer. Once inside the panel, we go to the App Gallery Connect section, and then we move to the menu option My Apps. In Huawei App Gallery, we create a new application in the New App button located in the upper right corner, which will open a modal window, where by default, we leave the APK option selected to later register the name of the application, the category to which it belongs and the default language it will have. We wait a few moments for the application to be created, and we will have all the necessary data and keys ready that will be taken care of later when using the Huawei mobile services. We go to the Develop tab located in the upper left corner, where we can register the name of the application package. Once inside, we select the option to manually enter the package name. In our example, we will enter the package com.de.example. It is important that this identifier is unique and follows the same conventions of any package name of an Android application. To create a key store, we enter the following command, in which you must specify a name, an alias and its corresponding passwords and their confirmation. We enter the first and last name. We enter the organizational unit name. We enter the organization name. We enter the city or locality name. We enter the state or province name. We enter the 2-letter country code. We confirm the previously entered data and then enter the password for the key store alias. Once the key store is created, we enter the following command to list the keys it contains. We enter the same password, and we go to the part where the SHA-256 key is displayed. We copy its value and return to the web browser to see the information of the application. Now we go to the application information in the My Apps menu, select My Projects. Once the information is loaded, we go down to the section that says SHA-256 certificate fingerprint, enter the key that we copied from the console, and click on the button next to save. We create the project in React Native on the command line. For our example, we give it the name of example and wait for the npm dependencies to finish creating the project. React Native combines the best parts of native development with React, a best-in-class JavaScript library for building user interfaces. React Native lets you create truly native apps and doesn't compromise your users' experiences. It provides a core set of platform-agnostic native. React components wrap existing native code and interact with native APIs via React's declarative UI paradigm and JavaScript. This enables native app development for whole new teams of developers and can let existing native teams work much faster. React Native also allows you to work with TypeScript if you prefer. The next step is to move to the directory where the project was recently created to use the name of the package that we registered in the Huawei Developers Portal. React Native by default, when creating a new project, assigns us another package name. To do this, once you are inside the project folder, we will use the React Native Rename command line tool that allows us to change the name of the package. In the command, we enter the package that was registered on the site and wait for the tool make all necessary changes to directory structure. Now we open the file system in the location where the key store was created, and also in another tab we open the project folder and enter the Android directory and then the app directory and move the key store to the project directory. Once the key store has been moved to the corresponding directory, next you have to make some changes to the application's build.gradle file. To do this within the directories, we move to the application's build.gradle file, located in the Android directory and inside the app folder, and we look below within the code for the signing configs option. We remove the debug code that comes by default and replace it with the following code in for release mode, which must match all the data that was entered when creating the key store on the command line. In ProGuardRules.pro we paste the obfuscation code for libraries. Next we open the Android folder of the project in React Native in Android Studio. We go to the build.gradle file of the project in general and look in the code for the BuildScript section in the repositories property and add the Maven repository corresponding to the libraries of Huawei. In the dependencies property we add the corresponding class path to use the Huawei mobile services. We go down to the end of the file and in our projects in the repositories property we also add the Maven repository, then we synchronize and wait for the changes to be applied. Now we move to the build.gradle file of the application and in the upper part of the file below the first line, we place the code to apply the plugin that will help us use the Huawei mobile services, synchronize and wait for the changes to apply. On the Huawei developers site we download the agconnectservices.json file. Once downloaded we open the file system and move it to the Android directory within the app directory of the React Native application. On the Location Kit site we click on the View Documents button. Once inside the page we go to the Overview option and select Cross-Platform. This will take us to the Libraries page where we must go to the plugins section, search below for Location Kit with React Native and download the compressed file. After unzipping the file we move the resulting directory that was downloaded to the Node Modules directory of the application. Now we open the Android folder of the application in Android Studio and open the settings.gradle file. Add the location dependencies from the Node Modules directory. We synchronize and wait for the changes to be applied. Later we open the application's build.gradle file and move to the dependencies section and add React Native HMS location, synchronize and wait for the changes to be applied. The next step is to open the main application.java file to import the location library and add it as a native package that can recognize React Native. In the main activity file we import the location management libraries and override the onCreate method to initialize the broadcast receiver. We add the location permissions to the Android manifest file. In the project's build.gradle file we assign the minimum version of the SDK to 19. Now we start with the JavaScript code. We start by removing the libraries that come by default. We import the libraries that we will need. We import HMS location from the Huawei Mobile Services library. We remove the JSX code that comes in the template. We also remove the styles that come by default. We create a style called title with font size 30. We create a style called subtitle with font size 24. Next, we are going to create the latitude handling through the useState hook and initialize it with a value of null. We create another hook for the longitude. When starting the application, the user will be asked for the permissions to use the location. For this we will support the useEffect hook. We create the function that is responsible for obtaining the latitude and longitude. We will make the design of the application in a simple way, which will consist of a title with the content of location kit, followed by a button that allows calling the function that obtains the current location of the user, and finally two texts that show the values of latitude and corresponding length when their values are different from null. With UI Location Kit, the opportunities are very wide. In this example, we focus on showing the integration of HMS with React Native to obtain the current location. However, much more can be done, such as tracking in the background and obtaining the location. This is very useful in product delivery application to see the trip tracking, and all this with great precision and low power consumption. UI has done a great job in optimizing its libraries so that they work correctly on their devices in an optimal. We recommend frequently checking the official documentation of the kits. They are continually being updated by uploading improvements and new versions of the libraries. We also invite you to visit the Huawei developer forums, where you will find many resources, examples and tutorials on how to make integrations with more technologies. In the forums they can also make contributions, such as articles or ask questions, so that the community can answer them. In Facebook there are also many groups that are sharing conferences and other support material. In the function getLocation, we create a location request object which will be used in a configuration object. The result of the promise returns an object with the coordinates. The corresponding latitude and longitude values are obtained, and we call the hooks function to place the values. In the command line we execute the npm start command and in another tab the npm run android command. This process of generating the application may take time depending on your device. Finally, we install the application and accept the location permissions, press the button, and shortly it shows us the current location.